The next view that we're going to go over, all right, aside from your elevations, is going to be the section views. All right. Now the section views are going to be run very similar to your elevations. All right. It's going to be a vertical view. All right. But when you click on the view tab and go to section, all right, you're going to draw these by kind of clicking twice, right, and defining where your kind of cut plane is. All right. So if, let's say we wanted to cut a section through the building here. Right. If we wanted to click once, you can see we have the line there where we're drawing our section view. All right. Click again. Right, you can see Revit automatically creates kind of the section box for us. Right, obviously the line that draws across here is that clip plane, right, of where the section's cutting. Right, and the box here is essentially what the section's viewing itself. Right, so if we go and down here now in our project browser, right, you can see we have section. Right, open it up, you can see this is what our building section looks like. Right, obviously we don't have a floor or roof there. Right, but if we change, the detail level, you can see the layers in our walls, right? If we look back at a 3D plan or the floor plan, all right, you can see that you have the section, all right, where you can select it. What you'll also notice is that you have the little flip here. So if for some reason you drew it and it's facing the opposite direction, you can flip it, all right. Now this box obviously determines on how far back that you're able to see, all right, and this is essentially just the crop box that you're adjusting here. Right, so if you're in your section view, right, so right now we can see to the outside of that wall. If we dragged your cropping view in like this, all right, and we looked at it in your plan view, right, you can see that's essentially what we just did there. Is all we did was drag that crop box in, by using the view as opposed to just using it out here in the plan. All right, and so once we place the section view here, a couple of visual things with it. On the ends, you can see the little cycle button, so you can cycle through what you want to show on the end, whether it's a section head or the little foot like this, or nothing. All right, and you will notice too on the section head like this, right, the number for the drawing number and the sheet number aren't filled in right now. All right, and that's because the section view isn't placed on any of your sheets, all right, because we haven't created any yet. But once you do place those views under sheets, all right, those heads will automatically update, and you won't actually have to do any updating for those heads. So whatever view this section line shows up in, right, that'll all be updated automatically for you. And if for some reason you delete it off that sheet and move it onto another, right, that automatically gets updated for you as well. All right, so you don't have to worry about going through and changing all the annotations like this, right? Revit does it for you automatically. Okay, but while we're in that section view, all right, again, your settings are going to be exactly the same as your elevations and your plan views, all right? You still have the same visibility graphics, all right? All the scales, everything like that, okay? Still have the ability to set view templates, all right? And again, it's just a little bit different being that you have this crop box here, all right? What's nice about the section views, all right, is that obviously they can go multiple levels, all right? And what's nice about them as well is, visually when you're looking at it in a plan, all right, if you look at the line itself, all right, we don't always want, this large section line cutting straight through our building. So if you click on this little squiggly line here, which creates a gap in the middle, right, it allows you to kind of create a gap and drag these ends out so you don't have to necessarily see it through your whole building, all right. What you can also do is, instead of doing that gap, is if you right click on it, all right, either flip section or go to view, all right, so a quick way is to go there instead of doing the project browser. All right, but what you can also do is, with a section like this, is if you look at the top here where it says split segment, right, when you have that selected, what's kind of cool with it is it allows you to actually split this segment up, so you can actually cut this section at two different spots in the same view. So if you say split segment here, all right, you can see that you can actually drag this section back, right, at different spots here. So now what you have is a section line, all right, where it cuts at this spot here, and then it goes, and when it gets to this line here, it moves forward and cuts at a different spot, right? So you can have essentially one section view that cuts at two different places, and actually not even just two, but you can split this into multiple pieces, so you can have it cutting really at a number of different places that you want it to, all right? So if you went and looked at this, you can see that, it looks a little bit weird because, we have it cutting at two different spots, but if you looked at it in the plan view, all right, is that it's cutting across here until it gets to this line, and then it jumps up and cuts there. So it looks a bit awkward because, essentially it is a little bit awkward, but what it does is it allows you to, get a couple different perspectives in one view. Now, the one thing I will say that I don't like about it is that right where you have the line that you split it at, when you look at it in the actual view, you can't actually see where that line ends up. All right, so it gets super confusing, especially because you have really no like visual break line here. So if you are going to go this route um, and try and play around with it at all, is I would recommend making this line here actually fall in the middle of a existing wall that you're trying to cut down, right? So something like that. So that way, when you're looking at the two different depths, right, is that it ends up looking a bit better on the eyes. It looks like the wall's going right down the center, all right, and that, you use kind of the wall as your differentiator between the two, all right, instead of having it kind of end out here in space somewhere, all right, and then you end up having a bit of an awkward, um, look as you look down your drawing itself, right? Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind, all right, when you're doing that you do have the option to kind of break that into multiple pieces with your section lines. Okay.